that a big deal?
And what?
I want to be an X. I want to take this class and get grades good enough for medical school. I want to have a great relationship. That's putting your butt out there.
Yeah.
And you set high goals, not absurdly high, but setting high goals.
Yeah.
How afraid are you to succeed? And how afraid are you to fail?
How afraid am I to succeed? I'm probably more afraid to succeed. Maybe. Yeah, now I feel like I would be afraid to fail. I'd feel a disappointment. I applied to Berkeley. I never thought I'd get in. I didn't think I would. I mean, I wasn't even going to. It was one of those things where I thought about it. I thought, God, that's a good school. I had blown off any kind of how do I say it, educational organization, anything, because I was so upset about the timed SAT. It bothered me so much, and I did bad in it. And then I thought, you know what, I can do it. I mean, I guess. And so I did get straight A's that year, and then I did get into Berkeley. And I still don't think I probably should have. I only like a 3.5 GPA. But yeah, I don't know. I guess in terms of like year or two goals, I guess I do set them and I don't want to fail with them. I mean, as soon as I decided that I wanted to pursue med school, I had to get all A's in all of my science classes, right? And I got all A pluses, but you know, I attribute my last genetic score of a B minus to my anxiety, but that, you know, that could be an answer to the question. Not that I know what it is, but I wasn't doing anything. I didn't have a job. I wasn't studying for the MCAT. I wasn't doing anything. And I was having anxiety all the time. And all I had was one genetics class in the lab. And I put on shitty TV all day to try to distract myself. I don't know. I thought, you know, maybe I'm afraid that I have to apply to medical school, or maybe I'm afraid, you know, maybe I'm afraid of actually doing it. I don't know why I just stopped. I definitely always feel like I'm not good enough. I never feel like I'm the same as people around me.
I'm assuming that if you got into Berkeley, you didn't bomb the SAT. You're being pretty hard. You did not bomb the SAT.
Well, no, I actually think I would have done a great job. I got a 1500 on the SAT, and of 5 columns of answers, I filled out 3. So if I would have finished the whole SAT, I think I would have done a great job. I used to do a good job on standardized tests, but I think that was when now spelling, I had like 11th percentile, so I don't know, I can't remember if they checked spelling in the SAT, but yeah, I'm assuming I would have done great. I could not do it in the time, and it makes me angry. You know, I got a B minus on a statistics class after I emailed him, and like the few times that I break down and cry over something, because I generally try to let it not affect me by avoiding it, you know? And I didn't want to avoid everything forever, you know? But yeah, I got it wrong because I had anxiety and I couldn't finish the test. And I taught 10 people it. They all got A's. But yeah.
So that time pressure is a big deal for you, isn't it?
Huge. It's a huge deal.
Tell us a story about an example of the time pressure and how it affected you.
Well, the SAT is one. Yeah, I mean, the stat test, that was a problem. The statistics test.
Explain how it developed.
So my friends are, you know, at Berkeley were really nice, and they work really hard. I think some of them are bio majors, and I think I described that I felt like public health didn't have that much to it. Some classes definitely did, but other classes were kind of a joke. But I decided I'll learn it really well, I hate statistics. It's not real math, okay? But I'll learn it really well, and I'll teach them because they don't have much time. And so I did, and I learned it inside and out, and I had it down, and I taught them all, and I spent all the time, and I got to the test, and this was right before I got accommodations. I didn't think I ever could, should or could have, but I took, the test was from 8 at night till like 10, just a bad time for me. And then it's dark outside and the lights are fluorescent and I feel like it's just hard to see, and I could barely finish a page. I was panicking, and I just, and then afterwards it's like, I think I left 2 pages blank, and I don't know if what my end goal or grade ended up being. I should have been an A, if had I done well, but maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. I ended up with a B- in the class. I did write him an email. But yeah, I ruined the test. I just cried. And I kind of gave up from then on. And I ended Berkeley with a 3.0, and it probably should have been higher, a lot higher, but I kind of just, and I don't know how much time I would have needed to, because my anxiety was really bad, and maybe if I could have calmed myself down, and tried to think through it. But right now it's like the MCAT, you don't get accommodations on that. That's a big deal. At times a big deal for everyone. So it's actually a lot different than most stages of my life. People are like, oh, you get an hour, it's fine. And I'm thinking, I can't even like read a few pages in an hour. Like, you're crazy, but it's the first time where, since everyone's pressured, I still feel pressured more because I'm slower and there's things I don't pick out in time, but it feels better. It feels better.
I guess I'm not getting it. Do you really think, if you were to, I was advising a high school junior recently, took the SAT, and it's so similar, because she got 770 in math, and she doesn't think she's going to get anywhere. And it's one of these things where you just want to whack her and say, kiddo, she's really, really bright. And English and all that other stuff is good too. Is it that you can't go fast, or is it that just the threat of there being a deadline? If there was no deadline, could you probably get it done in an hour? But the fact that there's a deadline just sort of...
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes the deadline is definitely scares me, and that one's really funny because, like, for them, there's verbal reasoning, and it's a passage, right? And you do these drills, and you could do like a speed drill or a comprehension drill, and one you're allowed the amount of time, and another you're speeding through it, and I don't finish. And sometimes I feel like I finish pretty fast when I'm allowed the ultimate amount of time. It's still nowhere near the other time zone, but I do feel that, and I definitely feel like that pressure. It's just like the pressure of having a disability and or being slower or not being able to spell or things like that, and thinking about it and not having the teacher know. Like, as soon as you tell the teacher, it's a pressure off. So sometimes it feels like, well, I don't need any help now. They know, and it's like a relief to get it out there. But on the other hand, I've been feeling pretty depressed lately, and I finally one day realized, after I had read a few articles on something that I like, about health, and I realized, like, no wonder I've been depressed. I just stopped all of this. I stopped reading. I stopped caring. I stopped being inquisitive and thinking about new things or theories or weird things like that. And it's because I pick up a book and I just can't read it. And there's no time limit. I don't have a time limit. If I'm on the computer and I want to, like, search through, different, diet stuff or, whatever, it should be fun and I should enjoy it. But it's hard when I can't get through an article because I'm not comprehending, and I'm not picking anything up, and it's just, I'll go watch some crappy TV or I'll go on a walk, or I actually, ended up upping more of my kind of social life in terms of, being in political clubs or whatever, and then, trying to work out more, and it's like, I'm not going to focus on school stuff, or I'm not just school stuff, I'm not, just, and it sucks. So, yeah, it's both timed and it's both when I'm not timed.
So just a couple more for now, then I was going to let Diana ask a couple questions, but can you trace the development of it? It sounds like it's getting worse, and it sounds like it's scaring you.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, if you would, maybe just talk about what were you like in high school and stuff like that. Just talk to me about you and how you've gotten over the last 10 years, how you've gotten to be where you are.
Where I am.
In terms of the anxiety and worry.
The anxiety. Well, my parents said I was always worried since birth. So I always, I was always curious about what was going on near me. I had a real desire to learn how to read because I wanted to be able to read notes that people wrote people. And I wanted to know what was going on. I was really afraid to not know what was going on. My mom tells me that, I wanted to like kind of plan things, which is funny because I don't really see myself as not tiny planner, but I guess. But it's like, we're going to the grocery store, we're going to go to the mall, we're going to do this. And I'm like, well, we should go to the mall, the mall first and the grocery store last so the groceries don't melt. And I'm like 4, So I cared about things. And then I hit elementary school, and I was really upset that I learned. Oh, and I would ask a lot of questions. I really wanted to know a lot of things. Like I learned about compounding interest, like before I started school ever, and I wanted to learn all my multiplication, and I wanted to do all that stuff. So I really for some reason I had a passion with it. And then I got to grade school, and I was pissed I didn't learn how to read the first day, But I started to struggle. I was in the behind reading groups, even though my desire was probably a lot more than other people. It just didn't come easily. And I was afraid to make a mistake. I never made a mistake. I have a warm fuzzy or a cold prickly, and the first day I got a cold prickly or whatever, my dad took me out to get ice cream because he's like, it's okay, you can make one mistake, and it wasn't even my fault, by the way. And so that happened, and then I think it's hard for me to remember back, but I know I started struggling with my grades. In fact, I even had a D in history. I think I started giving up because it was really hard for me to learn how to read. And I don't think back to that time as much. So I had a math teacher in 4th grade, and I would spend my time on math, and I would do really well. And I just kept getting 100%, and she would have the class, applaud me and stuff, and I really liked that. And she told me, you're smart and you've got all this down. And so then I picked a focus, and I thought, geez, I know how to do math. Though I kept struggling kind of in English, and around that time, I think